right now.
Okay, the Kimbal family, piano manufacturer.
Oh, Kimbal, yeah.
Kimbal pianos. Statue, limestone, weathered away over time.
Yeah, look at the face.
Another one with a big street in the city named after him.
Yeah, Kimbal Avenue.
Kimbal at one point, pianos rivaled the Schaff pianos. Adam Schaff was the grave that me and Ron and your sister went and visited over at Rose Hill.
That's right, yeah.
With the great big lions in front of it. The most famous one over here in this vicinity, though, has to be right up here. Louis Henri Sullivan, the world famous sculptor / architect of the firm Adler and Sullivan. Pioneer, genius, much credited to him. Sad ending to his life. When we were walking through my neighborhood earlier, the building right across the street from where I live is credited as Louis Sullivan's final work of architecture. It was called the Krause Music Museum. That's a historic landmark. Kind of where our journey started. Maybe on the way back we can cover that building, just like take pictures of it, whatnot. And we already went on about the Getty tomb that Sullivan did. Yep. He famously did an archway that was over the original Board of Trade building, and he had a real good run the turn of the century, turn of the 20th century. Sullivan's work was much sought after throughout the Midwest. There are a lot of banks and libraries too that Sullivan designed. Louis Sullivan falls on hardship. You have a little bit of a story here on the back of this stone. If you check it out, you got what the beginning of Art Deco design is.
Oh yeah.
Anybody watching this will have to pause and then read everything here. It'll explain more of what I was just rambling about on. Louis Sullivan dies a broken, bankrupt man.
Whoa.
He didn't have a lot of money left. Famous for inspiring many, mostly Henry Hobson and Frank Lloyd Wright. Shortly after Sullivan dies, his proteges find out that he's just kind of laying, and then I don't know if it was entirely unmarked, but he just had like a simple headstone out here in this vicinity with so many more mentionable people. We can go on and on here in this vicinity. Lawyers, judges, war heroes, inventors, architects. The famous of them all right here, though, is Louis Sullivan. This grave was dedicated and designed by Hobson and Frank Lloyd Wright, and commemorated to him, I want to say 5 to 10 years after he died. So 1824 he passes away. When he died, he supposedly had less than $20 to his name, and he died in like a hotel.
Jeez.
Kind of like a weekly, like a vagrant hotel, you know. I hate to use that word, but
yeah. Wow, what a story.
Yeah, not forgotten though, and much respected in the world of architecture and design. One of the greatest architectural forces in America. In testimony of this, his professional and other friends have built this monument, mostly Hobson and Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
Who Frank Lloyd Wright in itself is famous enough, especially here in the Chicagoland, what he did here in town, what he did all across the country.
Well, he definitely had some good friends to do that for him.
Yeah, rest in peace, Louis.
Yeah.
And he's American born, but they call him Louis Henri Sullivan because his mother was French, and he was, as a teenager, sent over to Paris to the École de France, a very famous design school where he mastered his art. We have kind of over here, you can just see next to that big spire is Judge Altgeld. Altgeld was famous for presiding over the anarchists' trial, where he set a bunch of them free. You have over here Howard Van Doren Shaw, who was the architect. There comes Coyote. I told you you're not afraid.
Yeah, right in front of us.
That's a big, healthy guy. Coyotes in the other cemeteries up around here kind of deal with mange and have got much scrawnier shapes. Any architecture fans out there, Howard Van Doren Shaw, dig into him. Incredible designer. Howard Van Doren Shaw did the Goodman family tomb, which is over there, which we saw the other side when you were filming by Ernie Banks. Are you still rolling?
Yep.
All right, let's keep on going here. All right, we talked about Getty and the archway design. The other of Louis Sullivan's world-famous mausoleums that he designed here in the cemetery lies right here ahead of us. Let's go around them. Now this is Egyptian revival style also, but it's much more different than the first two that we covered up on Mausoleum Row, where you have the columns and the scarabs and, you know, the asps and the palm leaves and whatnot. You have the Ryerson tomb. Martin Ryerson, at the time this was designed, was the richest man in the city. Egyptian revival. And this
Yeah,
is
it definitely
modeled,
looks like that.
this is modeled after tombs that the archaeologists found at a city called Karnak. But Martin Ryerson lies here, I believe, with his son named Nelson Ryerson, big-time lumber barons, both before and after the Chicago fire, but mostly after the Chicago fire, when the city needs to be rebuilt and we need wood and glass and architects and builders. A lot of the wood being used in the structures was all being chopped down and processed in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Ryerson family are credited as being the founders of Grand Rapids, Michigan, by the way. And yeah, at the time this is built, he was considered the richest man in the city of Chicago.
Wow.
Once a year, the family comes out to clean up what the inside of the tomb is. Inside of it is a very famous bust, a life-size face bust of Ryerson, which was done by Leonard Volk, or one of Volk's proteges, who was buried at Rose Hill, famous for doing Abraham Lincoln's bust. And there is also an archway, very famous archway that Louis Sullivan also designed. So this one, for Louis Sullivan fans, is kind of a double whammy, for the design of the tomb and for the archway that is inside of it, which is supposed to be very, very ornate. I've never seen the inside myself, but this thing built good genius engineering. It was built to last for 1,000 years. You can see the structure is still pretty much in sound shape. Black granite or marble. This is marble. It's from a special foundry or special quarry in Massachusetts from somewhere. There's a certain name of this marble. I can't think of the name of it right off the bat. But yeah, this stuff was imported from the other side of the country.
Wow.
Martin Ryerson and son. Rest in peace, sir. The gateway, not quite as fancy as the Getty Gate that he ended up winning awards for in Paris, but
It's still interesting.
Yeah, looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does.